bum 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 bum. Holy moly! It's time. Well, it's almost time. If you're just tuning in, or you're watching this after the fact, skip ahead to, I don't know, 3-4 minutes. It's when the actual previews start. I'm just starting to stream right now just to kind of, get people joining in if anybody feels like joining in today. Today is the 5th of May, Warhammer Fest, and we are having a peek at Age of Sigmar. Now, this is kind of interesting because I have no idea what's up, what's in store. I have no idea. I have zero. I usually have zero idea what is coming. So, not that I'm a wealth of information or anything like that. These are really more or less just kind of reactionary type of videos that I end up doing, and so today you're gonna join me. So hopefully all my volumes and everything like that are all good. Are we set up for screen? Yes, we are. I already got myself in my little box, waiting to see what happens. That's the live stream playing right now on the thingy. So once I hear the audio cue start going, then we'll join in with that. I also have the Discord up for all the patrons. You can feel free to join me in the Discord, and we can talk live while this is occurring. This is pretty much how I do these kinds of things. I like to have you guys involved as far as the previews and the shared enthusiasm for these things. It's Age of Sigmar. I have no clue. Well, I have no clue about anything really, but yeah, so I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. I have no idea what they're gonna do. I have no idea, what is Age of Sigmar missing? Are we gonna get more Stormcast? It's kind of like Space Marines, right? Like there's just a bazillion different Stormcasts. I mean, if you ever go to the Games Workshop site and look at all the army selection of stuff, Stormcast Eternals, they have a whack ton of options. They even have dragons, chariots, right? What do the poor Fire Slayers get? Not a lot, right? Not a lot. It's not a lot there. So, Ariel Sisinski. Hi everyone. Hi, Ariel. Yeah, we're just waiting for the stream to start, and we're T-minus whatevers. Oof, 10,000 people on the live stream. That's pretty cool. That's pretty darn cool. So yeah, Ten's what? Hi all. Hi 10. Oh, I don't have the little chat up. That's okay. We don't need the chat up. It'll get all cluttered up and everything like that. And I think, do I have my alerts on? Oh, here we go. We're starting. Here we go. I'm blocking the view again. Yeah, it's just graphics there. Oh, I guess I should probably turn the volume up a little bit.
Really cool stuff yesterday for Warhammer 40,000. If you missed that, if you've been hiding in a cave on Mars somewhere, you can go and check it all out on the Warhammer community website or watch it back on Twitch. But today we are journeying into the mortal realms for some exciting stuff. We've got some new miniatures. We've got some
so if there's a mortal realms, is there an immortal realms? Is there immoral realms?
Stuff to show. I would also think on Mars.
The immoral realms. I don't want to go there.
It depends which cave you're in. Some of them are dig
Fair. Well, I don't suppose. Oh, I'm going to do it earlier than normally. I don't suppose many of you are on Mars, but we are joined by. Last I looked, it was something in the region of 11,000 people in the chat, all hyped and ready for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. If you are tuning in, please tell us where you're coming in from. It's lovely.
You guys can hear the volumes okay?
Joined by so many people.
Is it all right?
It's always exciting to
I have
see
no idea.
the different corners of this wonderful world in which you come from. And it has begun Colorado, New York,
I think I can adjust it from here.
Portugal, Loch Ness. That's pretty awesome.
But yeah, let me know if you guys can hear this okay, and all that.
Good luck surviving that one. There isn't a real place called Mordheim, is there? I didn't just like.
I'm occupying this screen here just because it's fun. I mean, I can put myself right over Adam's face.
So many people tuning in from so many places. Thank you all so much for coming to.
Of course, I could be like Eddie.
About an hour or so with Eddie and myself as we take you on this tour of all things Warhammer with a very specific Warhammer Age of Sigmar theme.
Tens. It sounds good to me.
We had a
Okay,
pretty
cool.
good time yesterday.
Awesome.
Eddie, what was your highlights to take away from day one of Warhammer Fest?
We said so much cool stuff. I think in terms of miniatures, I'm pretty excited about the Demon Prince.
Yeah, the Demon Prince
So I
was
think
really,
over
really
the
cool.
course of my hobby
If you
journey,
guys missed that
I've
Demon
about
Prince, man,
7
I can't believe it's all one kit. Like,
combinations in my armies.
it's gonna have like you're gonna have bazillions. Like half that kit you're not gonna
4 or
use.
5 armies
So
that
like,
you can do with the Demon Prince in.
I don't know.
I have one Demon Prince in my collection, and I think it will be upgraded quite substantially when that comes around. I have quite a large demon army, actually. For me, having spent a lot of the day, probably too much of the day, getting excited about yesterday's reveals with the Warhammer TV team and talking to
I want more
presenters,
leagues of
it's the
Wu-Tang.
Mind Witch from,
I want to see more. I
that
need to
new
know
Chaos
more.
set, which has got
I
all the
need to
crazy
know.
sort of characters to lead
Please,
your
somebody.
Slaves to Darkness army.
Let me
I
know.
just like the idea of a great big distended psychic head on a stick, using mind powers on everybody while the sort of slave
Mind
body
powers.
is like, his life essence is leached away.
Normally, you're quite in the loyalist camp of.
Yeah, but I think yesterday was quite a celebration of
It
things
was quite
that were
spiky.
a
yesterday,
bit
wasn't
mad
it?
and
It was
evil.
Quite spiky.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I super like the Hernkin Pioneer.
Yeah, there's a lot of chaos.
I'm
A
getting
lot of
quite
chaos.
super excited for the arrival of the Leagues of Votan.
The possessed dudes.
Today is the day to
the
get
mutants.
excited about Age of
all
Sigmar,
very
It is.
cool.
Things in the Mortal Realms. If you're watching along at home and you are currently embarking on an Age of Sigmar project or have just completed one or just want to shout out your favourite army in all caps, then please do let us know in the chats.
Ooh, yeah, go on. I can see already that.
So Age of
Ratman
Sigmar.
is getting quite
What do you
a
guys
lot
do?
of
Age of
hype.
Sigmar.
People,
I'm Deepkin. I like
looked at
Deepkin.
the
I have a bunch of
banners
Age of
maybe
Sigmar
behind
stuff.
us and inferring
Probably have
something.
enough Stormcast Eternals to make a Stormcast army,
maybe
but
maybe the Ratmen
Yeah.
will get a look in. Is there anything you're
Some
excited
Ratmen?
to see? I know the thing that you're hyped for. Do you want to drop an unsubtle hint?
No, I think there's probably people could probably guess. There's been some hints, I think, over the internet about what kind of things we might be set to talk about.
I have
some
no
of the
idea.
things we've got today are going to take people by surprise.
I guess I'm bad at interneting, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think I'll hint too much.
Oi.
Any Age of Sigmar
Oh,
projects
there he is.
yourself on the
Jared,
go?
what's
Age of
happening?
Sigmar
Oh,
projects,
I'm
not
muted.
really. I did do a nice tidy
What's
up
up?
on Warhammer Age of Sigmar shelf lately. My Stormcast Eternals one.
Oh, you know,
arranged, and I'm
catching
trying
the
to
show.
work out
Cool.
how to essentially fill the
yeah.
gaps. So I built, I want to say his name's Karazai, the red dragon.
Yeah,
And I
angry one.
haven't painted it. Oh yeah, it looks so good. And I haven't painted it
Just
yet.
watching the
So I
Age of
was
Sigmar.
rearranging the
Do you play
shelf.
Age of Sigmar?
Just right next to Celestin Prime.
Yes. Well,
So, it's on
define
the
play.
but I've been
I have an army.
caught up in the-
I gotta turn this volume down a bit.
I'm still working my way slowly through a.
I can't do it right
Loads of gut rippers, basically. For
I'm gonna
for
turn my
I've
physical
got
volume down a
Kragnos,
bit.
I've got Kragnos, and then I just keep adding.
Um,
So I've got about 70, I think.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your answer.
To go through and paint. There's quite a lot of detail on that.
If by play you mean do I own an army? Yes.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of details
Well,
there.
whatever.
Have I actually played a game with it?
If you were
No.
inclined
Yeah, same
to,
here. I mean, I have
get away
Deepkin.
with it,
Yeah.
but you-
And I've got like
That's
all
not how
sorts
I
of stuff for
roll.
Deepkin.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely been
and
working
we
on
both
it, but
say
yeah.
beforehand that, the
I
new
have
sort of,
all
one
sorts of
for
5 different models for my army.
I do like those.
Oh, that's cool.
My daughter has expressed. an
What do you
interest
play?
in Playing,
Sons of Ammon.
scale Warhammer.
Okay.
So it could be on.
So 2 big
Right.
giants, 2
So,
little
It is
giants,
5 minutes past.
and Kragnos.
My schedule says it.
Nice. So lots of big models.
Our first video. Thank you everybody for
Oh,
joining us.
here we go. We're
We'll be
doing a
right back
video.
after this.
Size matters.
Size matters.
Someone will hear you.
Don't tell my wife that.
Ratman in these parts.
Ratmen come in packs. We'll hear 'em a mile off. I heard there ain't such a thing as ratmen. Then what do you think the regiment's been after? Shh. General's gone mad. We're chasing shadows.
Are you serious?
Ooh, lurk. Some scavin.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Skaven?
Yeah. Kill, kill, kill. Huh, Boop is new. Boop is Snoop. Oh, he's cool. Oh, look at that. The
Master of Stab Kill.
That
Stab
was
kill.
pretty awesome. A new Death Master for the Skaven, Eddie. What do you know?
That's
So,
pretty cool.
as you say, this is a brand new hero character for the Skaven. Deathmaster has been an iconic part of Warhammer lore for, I think, as long as I remember, may even be older than
that's
me.
pretty cool.
The Deathmasters. So
I'm not
for those of you
super
who don't
into
know,
Skaven.
Deathmaster is the title given to like the expert.
I know people
assassins
who
of the
are.
Trans-Eshin of the Skaven.
So I imagine
These
they're
are
probably really
hero
excited
killers
right now.
extraordinaire, who
If
will,
they're watching.
find their enemy heroes,
Hold on
leaders,
1 second.
wizards on the battlefield
You hang
or
on.
elsewhere, and basically stab them with a big, scary, poisoned dagger, and/or use scary shuriken to kill their
look at
prey.
that.
They are the most lethal
Nomad,
warriors
let's
in
go.
the Skaven army.
Awesome. And we were saying just before we came live, actually, that possibly the Deathmaster's assassin mold, or that sort of characterization, is one of the coolest things about the Skaven, and they've been very well served over the years. And this one is incredible. It just oozes character, sort of.
It's pretty interesting.
Sneaking down
With the
over
paint
some
job,
broken masonry.
they've done some non-metallic
dripping
metal on his
poisonous
blades
venom.
and his
It's got a
shurikens.
prehensile tail with a
Usually
stabby
don't do a
bit on
lot
the
of that
end.
kind of.
Yeah, I think he's going to fit really
painting on
nicely
models.
if you have picked up the latest season of Warhammer Underworlds and you want to add some of those new Skaven into your army as well. He will sit very, very neatly alongside them. They've got that recurring theme now we've seen on a few Skaven models on the bases of them, where they have that kind of ruined bits of Sigmarite scenery that are kind of hinting at
Brian, squeaky squeak.
city or a township that's
Squeaker?
been destroyed by the Skaven. Or
I like
left
his
into
little.
ruin.
I like his little.
The idea of that your
his
army
little
kind of
snout.
crawling across
Boop the
this
snout.
ruined city is quite fun.
I'm not gonna
quite
lie,
fantastic, and lots of
I
the
want this
Skaven
more
models themselves actually have
for
bits of
D&D
masonry
than I
that
want
kind
it
of
for
cobbled together.
AOS.
It's quite a
Sure.
fun theme, I think, to pull the armies.
Like, I want this
And
to
I've
be
gotta
my
just be
next
honest,
D&D
huge
character
hats
right
off
now.
to the miniatures design team in the Warhammer studio, who continue to amaze me with how sort of lifelike and realistic things like the drapery look. All that use of negative space, I can only imagine how that kit's going to go together to enable you to create these things where you can
Disco
see sort of
Skaven,
the
yeah,
gaps in between,
Skaven.
like the hood and the robes all dropping together.
Skaven.
It's an incredible piece of sort of miniature engineering.
Yeah, I like
The
it.
nerd in me gets quite
It's really
excited
cool.
about how they manage to make models that go together in spite of looking, frankly, impossible for something that's made out of plastic.
Yeah, some lovely details on it as well. I really
Brian,
like
it's
the
not a
shuriken
monkey rat?
in the kind of symbol of the Skaven assassins itself.
The monkey rat
just
king.
dripping with ooze.
Yeah.
So I think if you're a painter and you're looking for a model to kind of show off, you
Yeah,
can
I
see already
kinda
that the
dig
heavy
it.
metal team has done an incredible job on
Now,
the
has
metallics and
a
things
lot
on
of
this.
Skaven gotten
Look at
the
things
Age
like
of
the way the
Sigmar
armor's
treatment?
done
Like, have they
and
been
even
updated
down to,
since
like,
the
toenails on
models,
Skaven
ported
created
over from
beautifully. If
Fantasy?
you're looking for a model to maybe not something too massive. It's not your centerpiece. He's not going to be like your Thanquil.
I don't know.
Vermin
Yeah, I
Lord
don't
or
know
something,
either.
But,
Again,
a
I
model
don't- I
showing
like-
some painting skill on a small
Go ahead.
scale. This one's a nice one.
I was going to say, my
Absolutely.
knowledge of Sigmar is
So that's pretty
giants
exciting
can
for
kick
Skaven players, but it's not
objectives,
the
so it's
only
funny.
thing that Skaven players should be excited about.
No,
That's
so they've
what I
got
meant.
a brand new Chaos Battle Tome is on the way for the
Battle Tome.
Skaven. We knew that a Chaos Battle Tome was coming. We can confirm today that it will indeed be for the Skaven. So inside this, you've got all the things you'd expect. So that Deathmaster obviously
I
has.
do like the
all his new
red
rules in
color
there,
on
along
these
with
books.
the new Warhammer
Yeah.
Underworld's Warband as well. So
Well,
there's
it's
a little
distinct
bit
from
of,
40k, right?
Eshin get a bit more.
It's
of the
distinct,
Battle Tome than
and
they
it
used
looks
to.
a lot better
But
than
all of the
the-
various different ways that you
the
can
way they
build
used to do it. It
Skaven
gives a
army are
nice
covered,
uniform
so
look.
Clan rats
Yeah.
and, Vermin Lords and Screaming Bells and all that stuff. And the Skaven range actually is really nice. There's a lot of really good
Brian
stuff in
says
there.
2
There's some
Underworld
great
kits. That's
Yeah,
it since the
totally.
end times. Oh,
In
really?
terms of the
Okay, so
Battle Tome
Skaven
itself,
have been really
huge
needing
fan
an update
of
then.
that iconic image of
Interesting.
The
I
Screaming
wonder if
Bell.
that's what's happening this year.
Great
Is we're getting a
to the
whole
Screaming
bunch of
Bell.
Skaven.
It's just absolutely fantastic, and that bell tolling sort of resonates all the way through the lore of the Skaven from their sort of
Brian,
original creation all the way through to now.
expect the
Yeah,
terrible
the
terrain.
Skaven are kind of one of the those armies that have made the transition out of the.
Oh, you mean like the
World
wall
Wars
sections and
into
everything? Yeah.
The Mortal Realms.
I was going to say,
not exactly
except,
unscathed,
I think
but,
is what he was saying.
They've kind
Oh,
of
except?
retained the culture.
I don't know.
they
Some of the wall
Yeah.
sections in
This
Age of
kind
Sigmar
of
are kind of
really
like
rich
meh,
history and tapestry of
But I mean,
how
like there's
their
some like the
faction fits
like the
together.
last
And in terms of
set,
how they
the
play in the
Thongian
game,
one.
they have a
with, like,
really
the
kind of
waterfall,
wacky,
floating
way
waterfall
of playing,
thing.
which
That
is
was-
that quite
that's
a
a
lot of
really
their stuff
cool
is high risk, high
looking piece.
reward. So you've got lots of things that can potentially do vast amounts of damage to your opponent, and if they go right and your Machiavellian schemes come together properly, you can kind of sit there cackling away as the enemy army falls apart.
What
But
is that
sometimes,
image in the
you roll a
background?
few ones, or your unit's bravery doesn't quite stack up, and
Like a
bits of your plan
snake?
fall apart. And you
Is
get
that the
one
horned
through
rat?
that. So it's a fun army to play. It's very thematic, and that's represented as well in the battle tome, as you'd expect.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. So
I don't
you
know.
mentioned some of all of the different strata of the clans and things.
Can we have that as a model?
Within this.
Yeah, so you can definitely
never know.
lean really heavily into the different aspects of Skaven
Brian,
if you want
endless
to.
spells
so you
were
can,
cool too. Yeah.
Lean into like an Eshin force if you want to, or you want to do an army that's all about the kind of warp.
I mean, like Age of Sigmar
technology,
has
or you
like
want
a
to
lot of
really
great
heavily have a kind of martial force,
talent
Stormvermin
behind the sculpting and the
everything like that, or you want a
imagery and everything like
pestilence
that.
force.
And
Those are
I
all
think we're
perfectly
starting to
doable,
finally see that trickle
within
over into the
battle
40k
Or you
stuff.
can just revel in the full glory of the Horned Rat in every aspect and just have a big massive.
Because Age of
mob of
Sigmar, I
everything.
mean, like these models are
your-
just
what's your
fantastic all
preference?
over
Oh,
the place.
Eshin, all Eshin.
All in on Eshin.
I'm all about ninja rats. That's mega.
So
Ninja
I've never collected a Skaven army of my own, but when I dabbled, I was just collecting all the things with big guns on. So storm
certainly
things
one
with
way to do
Gatling
it.
guns,
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's-
rattling guns with Gatling guns, and
The-
I've
the
always
army
just
does
laughed
pretty
at the
well
rule
as
that
well.
they used to have
You're right.
life is cheap.
I'm not sure I'd
That
feel
one was just
unleashing all
hilarious.
that lead on the table, but visually those kits, sort of the mad engineering aspect of it, you know, the idea of warp block engineers are sort
Yeah.
of cobbling together crazy things and then firing shot laced
Pretty
warpstones.
darn
It's a
cool.
pretty compelling image for me.
Yeah, I think there's lots of things going on in the Skaven army, right? So there's the idea of the kind of swarms of chaff and infantry and things, but there's also this kind of mad scientist kind of aesthetic that lives in the background. And there's also this kind of like
Are the Skaven still all
warrior
about the
elite,
warpstone? I assume so,
kind of
since the like they got like the
ninja
dripping
sort of
goo
element to them
that's
as well,
all green and
there's the
everything.
kind of pestilence thing. So it's a big bubbling pot of culture, which actually feels like a really complete and compelling faction for Age of Sigmar. So they're fun. There's a lot of things to like about Skaven army.
I totally agree. A little shout out to, I missed the name, sorry, it flew past, but somebody said hello from Bolivia. We have lots of Warhammer
Bolivia.
Sigmar fans here. I don't think I've
Brian,
ever seen
Parasite
Bolivia
Engine
fly past
was
me chat
in the
before,
War of the
so
Beast
thank
fluff.
you for joining
Sadly,
us
no
from Bolivia.
steampunk clan sky
so
or
we've had a
giant
little
tank
bit
yet.
of Skaven.
Jeez.
But that is by no means the only thing
Hey,
that we're
Kim.
going to reveal
Hey.
or talk about today. How about we come back after this short video here?
Oh, short video. Oh. Boom, boom, boom.
Life flows through the realms once more, and where there is growth, we will spring forth to
Sylvanet?
defend it in
Against Nurgle?
Alariel's name.
Okay, that's cool.
That
That's
is
really cool.
Flying buggers. Bugs.
Dragonfly riding Drakari is what it looks like right now.
Yeah. Oh, look at these guys. Aren't they? Oh, these are cool. Lady of the Vines. Look at that. I like the head crown thing. The
I'm calling it that Lady on Vines is going to be like
Well,
20% of all Golden Demon entries next year now.
What can we make of all this?
So yeah,
You never know.
The Sylvaneth have been with
here
us
we go.
since the start of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And
Oh, he's stepping on Nurgle.
Had a largely near the beginning of the first edition of Age of Sigmar.
That's cool.
We haven't really seen them had a major.
Yeah,
range of
standing
factions
on the
for a
guy
little
is
while,
pretty
but
awesome.
That changes very soon because the largest influx of reinforcements to the Sylvaneth is on its way, and there's some pretty special models in the mix. So if we kick off with Lady of Vines, this is a
No, man,
character
I
that
hate
may
this
be
already.
familiar to
Always tempting me
those
to
people
spend more
who
money,
follow
yeah.
the story of the Realmgate Wars.
Yep,
She was one of
absolutely.
the handmaidens of Alariel.
Yeah,
She
I
was
like
one of
this.
the first Sylvaneth characters we ever met in the Mortal Realms. And if you follow the story
I
of
like
the
how
Realmgate
like
Wars,
the
you may
branches you
remember
can
that she
like it
sacrificed
feels
herself
it's
in
kind of
order
like
to
Groot where
bring
they're just
about
kind of
the
coming
rebirth
out, you
of
know, and they're
Alariel
gonna grab
and
something.
The kind of the rebirth of life in the mortal realms, basically. But Alariel is the goddess of life, so she was able to resurrect her most loyal handmaiden.
Yeah, definitely a fan
thanks to
of
Alariel, you
like
get this
how they
beautiful model.
actually have
She
limbs
is
and
quite
stuff on them.
literally,
Yeah.
if you've read the lore, Alariel's right hand.
Kim, I want a new Nurgle.
So,
I don't care
yeah,
much about
that's pretty
Sylvaneth.
Awesome. And she mixes and mingles with the Hallowed Knights, which are my particular home.
I
domains
have
in Moor Realms.
0
So,
Sylvaneth.
I'm very excited for this.
Yeah,
Potential ally.
Yeah, she battles
at
alongside
the shoulder
Gardas,
armor.
the
That
Steel
looks like the
Soul, I think,
Avatar's
in some of
armor.
the Mortal Realms stories. She's a particular nemesis of Nurgle because there's a huge battle in the Realm of Life, the War of Life, where
She
the
even
forces
gets a
of Nurgle
proper
are trying to
codpiece.
overtake that realm, and the forces of the Sylvaneth definitely don't want that to happen. And you can see a plague bearer on the base there. Getting,
I mean, they painted it gold. They've
rooted
got to be
out.
trying to
Chaos
draw attention.
literally rooted out of the realms there.
I like it.
In terms of her abilities on the battlefield, she sits
Yeah,
somewhere
that's
in the
really
same
cool.
region as Dryker in your Sylvaneth force, so she is a much more powerful than something like an infantry character, but maybe not quite on the same level as Alarielle herself. So she's like a medium monster level
I just like
hero.
how the plague
she's a
bearer is kind of like,
spellcaster.
oh god,
she
get
can
off me.
summon units to the battle and reinforce your army. She's got some
She's
buffs to
stepping
nearby
on
units,
me.
and she can handle herself in a fight as well. So she's like a very useful character to have. She's got all sorts of different tools
Wonder how big
to
it
help
is.
you out in the battle.
She looks bigger than
and then
like
from
a plague bearer,
miniature
so she's got to
perspective
be
as
a
well,
decent
She
size.
looks
the
like
Sylvaneth
she might be
range
about
is
as
one
big
of
as a
the
demon
most
prince.
striking visuals of
Yeah.
the entire Age of Sigmar range, but she has got some lovely little touches on her in terms of you've got some little spites and things in.
And was that like a little
the
vase in the
cloak that
back?
she's
Like
got.
it's like a
The
tree
weapon
growing
is quite
around it kind of
impressive.
thing?
The details on the model are just amazing, aren't they? Like first off the bat, and it's already been referenced both in the chat and by yourself, but it's the foot on the sort of
Kim,
back of
only
the neck of the
Sylvaneth,
plague
I
bearer
got is the Underworld's
stunning,
warband.
and it
Yeah.
really evokes what we've seen of her character through the sort of the
I
novels. and the
dig this
background
model. It's
story
really
of
interesting.
Sort of the battle
It's
and the
different.
of life.
Again, that's
I
the
mean,
thing I
there's
like
things
about
the
a lot of these
skulls
Age of
woven
Sigmar
into the
models,
cape,
is that
of,
they're just so
sort of
different from
cape
what
of vines or leaves or
what
ivy
else
or
is
whatever
out
it
there,
down her
you
back.
know?
But one of the skulls is not like the others.
Right, we don't have to have
and
the
then
whole
obviously you've got
grim.
spikes sort of wriggling
We're
around
not
in there.
grim
It's
dark,
just
and
so
we're
much
not
to love.
like
Once
you
again,
know,
I mean, it's just
classic
just continuing to
fantasy
blow us away with
D&D
these
tropes.
intricate
Yeah,
details,
exactly.
which
I mean, it's all fresh
you could paint this
territory
with
that
Citadel
they're
contrast
going into,
paints,
and it's just
you could
you know
probably
letting
have
their
all that in
imaginations
a-
run.
like an
Yeah,
afternoon,
there's many
or you
borrowed
could
elements, but
lavish
I
time
mean,
like the heavy metal
what's
painters have.
entirely
There's
original
core
these
elements
days.
regardless.
Centerpiece model for your collection.
Yeah, I think
Because
what I like
obviously,
about
like, you know,
it,
these are
and a lot of the
dryads,
Sylvaneth
right?
range
But
is
they're
the-
not
the kind of
dryads like
juxtaposition
they were
between
before.
the elegant weaponry of like the sort of elven root and things like the urn that carried in the back, and the
Yeah,
really
very elven
spiteful kind of
Aesthetic. Well, it's Sylvaneth, right?
visceral,
And they're supposed to be elves.
natural
So the
look
wood
of the
elves.
face. So this isn't a friendly character. They might fight for the forces of order, but you know she hates interlopers into her realm. You can see her cloak is
Well,
full
I
of
can
the
understand
skulls of
that.
people
I don't
who
like
maybe
interlopers in my
accidentally
realm
trod on a
either.
flower by mistake. That sort of thing. She's not your friend unless you are literally on the forces of the Sylvaneth. But she will fight tooth and nail to keep chaos out of the realm.
Yeah, fantastic. Of course, she was by no means the
Oh,
only
yeah,
thing
look at
we
these
saw in
guys.
that video.
Oh, these are
Teasing
pretty.
Things. Tell me more about Gossamed Archers.
So this is a new unit for the Sylvaneth, picking up that kind of spite theme that we've seen a little bit with some of the things like the Revenants that live in the Sylvaneth army. And it's a brand new unit type we haven't seen before, and one that gives a really interesting new option basically to Sylvaneth
I like the
collectors and
flesh in the
players.
wings.
So from a lore
I
perspective,
mean, you can
this
go
is a unit
anywhere
that
with
can,
these wings, right? I mean, you make them
fly
look
around the
like
battlefield. That you
fairies.
can
You
see on
can,
the back of their
you know,
can't quite see the shots,
multicolored
but on their backs
wings.
they basically have grubs
and you can go
that
anywhere with
cling
these
on
things.
and fly
fantastic.
them around.
I kind of want
so
to buy
there's insects on the
Kennedys
back there
just
that
for
help
those
them kind
wings.
of move swiftly.
Yeah,
they can
even just
dart
convert
between
them and
trees.
do other stuff with
From
them.
a gaming perspective, they give you a fast-moving,
I could
solid
for
archer
sure
unit that can
see
kind
like
of get to where you
Dark
need them to be and
Eldar
put damage
Scourges
onto
wearing
enemy
those.
units.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're just a really, really flexible, useful unit that can kind of harass enemy.
you could swap
claim objectives
Scourges
quickly.
and
They
these
move
guys'
quickly,
wing
they can
sets
get out of
and
trouble
get some
quite
really
easily.
cool looks.
Yeah.
Their
Disco,
bows
those wings will
fire,
make good
arrows
canvas.
that
Yes,
are
yes.
Kind of upon
Yeah,
impact,
even doing like butterfly
shatter and
wings,
turn
like
into,
butterfly designs on
bugs
them.
that swarm and dig into enemies.
And
so
you can
they-
go anywhere with them.
They hit
Make them
pretty hard,
insect,
even
make
though
them
they're
all
just- they're carrying
rainbowy.
what looks to be arrows.
Whatever.
Bows and arrows. They're actually
Rainbow would be
enchanted
awesome.
with the power
Yeah.
of life magic.
Like even like
Color
like-
shifts on those wings.
Yeah, exactly. Color
Fantastic.
shifts, like
Those bugs
metallics
on the
and
back
stuff.
apparently
Yeah,
are called
you can go all
Zephyrin
sorts of different places with these.
spikes. Yeah,
Or you can
they've
even
got
go
this sort of
dark and make
symbiotic
them look
sort of
evil and
relationship
you know
going
whatever,
on, so
right? I mean,
Zephyr spikes will carry them on. That's a really.
I mean, they are evil. It's just a
There's
matter
quite a
of
lot of the
degrees.
Sylvaneth range is kind of moving in the direction of having.
are the Wood Elves evil? I don't even know.
the
Sylvaneth
spikes,
evil?
and
I didn't think
kind
they
of
were.
elven and
Everything in
the-
every
the
Warhammer
tree
game is
spirits mixed
evil. It's
together
just a
much
matter
more.
of
You saw it
how.
originally, obviously,
Ah.
with Alarielle herself, who's riding around on a great big Wardroth beetle. But the idea of insect
There are no
creatures
innocents
mixed in
in
amongst that
40K.
kind of
But this isn't
big elven
40K.
aesthetic is becoming more and more
Or
prominent, as we'll see
fantasy,
with the
either
next
one.
unit.
It's just
Oh,
Oh, look at these
back-
things!
So, what are Spiked Rider Lancers?
So this
Oh
is
my
another unit
gosh.
which gives Sylvaneth a really
Those
different way
things are
to
probably
approach
my
putting an army
favorite
together.
Oh
approach
my
together for Age of
God.
Sigmar. So these are
I love the wing
the
shape.
cavalry, the shock
Yeah.
How
cavalry
it's
of
not
Sylvaneth
just
forces,
like a
and they're
traditional
riding,
dragonfly. It's
spikes
really,
again,
it's
which
got
are
that
a little bit
movement
like kind
feeling
of
we talked
big
about
dragonflies,
yesterday.
but these are kind of bigger than horses.
With having the
this is a
wings
hard-hitting
curved back like that,
cavalry
they
unit
feel
for
like they're
Sylvaneth.
in
They
motion
work a
without
little bit
doing
like
anything to them.
something like the maybe the Achelian eels for something like the Ideneth.
That
They're in
makes
that kind of
sense for that.
ballpark ballpark of
No,
how
it makes no
hard
sense.
they hit.
You're talking crazy.
But they're very fast. They
Damn it. It's worth all
the
over
amount of
again.
wounds and attacks. They can put the herd.
No,
on
I get you,
bits
man.
of the
These
enemy army that
this
you
is
need.
freaking
And they give
cool.
the
I like the
Silver
heads on them.
army something that it was sort of lacking, which was you had lots of
And the
durable
wings are
troops.
just fantastic.
You had pretty solid spellcasters.
Anytime a model can
You didn't really
convey
have anything that could,
like an
get
action
places
feeling
fast
without
do
having
that where you
to
really needed
either
it, unless you
repose
were
it
kind of
or
teleporting
add
between
extras, I'm
stuff.
always a fan.
These guys don't
Yeah.
need to do that. They can
Like, just
zip across the battlefield
looking
very
at them,
quickly
you
and,
know they're speedy,
threaten huge parts of the
right?
battle.
The way the wings sweep
that
back.
sounds great. There's a few things that are worth talking about. One for me that stands out, and actually somebody in the chat has picked up on it. Spruce and Bruce says loves the echo of the Warhammer Fantasy Battle Warhawk riders of old. And there is there's a lot of shared.
You know what would be
heritage with the
hilarious
Sylvaneth and,
is using
you know,
these to
the,
convert
what else,
into
what it was.
the Ash Waste
And,
Nomads.
That's a very strong image. You can imagine these sort of zooming in between sort of the arboreal forests and whatever, and
Big
it's a really
insecty
great
doers.
sort of visual to use.
Hopefully
And
those legs
alongside
aren't
that,
attached to
these
those
horned
bodies.
helmets are really
Oh, I love the red.
whiskey
Yeah, if
away
those
from the
legs,
horned helmets.
if they're
But
fully
they have a
detached
really
riders,
strong sort of
there
visual
are
identity.
so
You
many
can
swaps
imagine
we can do in
these
universe.
as almost
Oh, sure.
appearing as sort of
Let me
fighting
introduce you
things out of
to-
myth or legend, and, you know,
follow
if
me
you're
here.
trespassing on the domains and these things
Thunderwolf
carrying out the
Bug
really
Riders.
terrifying bugs the size
Sure,
of a camel
yeah.
and a masked rider.
Can
and
you
stuff like that.
imagine a
Well, they also tie in really
space
nicely
bug?
with things like the Arch Revenant, which
I
is
can.
currently in the Sylvaneth army. So,
I could see anything on these bugs.
There's lots
I'm
of
just
things to tie
imagining
these-
somebody with like
these units
dual
back into the
Thunderhammers
Sylvaneth.
riding
Actually,
up.
You can now,
Because I mean, like the
because of
first
these
place
units,
I go
you've got
when
your
we
archers
see
units,
these
you've
really
got your
wild things in
cavalry units.
fantasy
You can now build a
is
Sylvaneth army in
Exodite
ways that
Eldar
you just
or
couldn't do
Eldari.
before. So you can have a really
And
fast cavalry-heavy army.
them
You can
riding
have
on
a really
all sorts of
shooty
crazy
army that's
crap.
got colonel
They
hunters
always
with bows backed up
depict
by loads of,
Exodites on
spikes
dinosaurs,
zipping around
but I
and
think
firing arrows at
that's
stuff.
that's
It
a
just
very
means
narrow
all of a
vision. It's a
sudden
narrow
it's a much more
narrow
appealing
perspective
thing to
on
collect,
what you can
basically.
go and where you can go with these guys.
And there is a
Because
really nice thing about
Exodites, I
the,
mean, like
the
they're supposed to be like
aesthetic of
primitive
those
Eldar.
elves,
They're kind of like
some
this,
the
except they're
Sylvaneth
not
lore has
all
got this
treed
idea
up and
that
everything,
Some
right?
of the kind of
Nomad,
the
oh my God,
racial
don't give me
memory
ideas.
almost of
Yeah.
the ancient elven warrior castes is
Because
kind
I
of
mean, I can
captured in
totally
the
see like a
Sylvaneth.
little
You
Eldar
can see that
Guardian
in
riding on these
the
things,
style of the
and just
weapons
part of an
and stuff that
Exodite
they
force. And I
carry,
mean, you
the
just
helmets
proxy
and
these as
if
jet
you look at
bikes,
things like the
right?
spiked,
Like that's it.
revenants, you can see there's like hints
then
of
just
a
strap
little
a
bit of
gun.
wood elf in there, a little bit of dark elf.
I love these.
Lots of kind of
The
Yeah,
red.
somebody
back
just
to the World
commented
War,
in the
which is really
Warhammer
nice if
Twitch,
you remember
like
that.
definitely that they're going to
now,
use
of
them
course,
for
I'm an absolute
Ashways.
sucker for some
Yeah.
spare bits and a kit.
Why
And,
not?
Here we are with an entirely other optional build
reds
for this
on
unit.
this
These are the
other pair
Revenant
looks
Seekers.
awesome.
Yeah.
And they do something quite different, right?
Yeah, so there's two different ways to build this kit. The spite itself is it kind of stays the same, but the warrior on the back is quite different in this aspect. So you can see
Yeah, these
rather
are
than having a
cool.
helmeted head and lances, these guys have got
And
a
bugs
more
are just a lot of
standard
fun,
elven head,
too. I mean,
and they've got sickles. And the way that these seekers work is that they fly
because
through the
outside of
battle
like
and they
Chaos
harvest
and
the soul
Stormcast,
pods
there's not a lot of
fallen
opportunity to
Sylvaneth.
paint
So,
like armored
in,
edges and such.
In lore terms, these guys are kind of flitting between
Age
like,
of Sigmar, right?
fights that are happening.
Whereas
and
with
kind
these
of
guys, like
capturing
they
all
have
the-
like
the
these
kind of soul
armored
essence
plates.
so they can
It's
make sure it doesn't
you know.
get corrupted.
God,
by
are we going to
chaos
see something like
and
this for
take that back
Tyranids?
to the heart of life to be reborn as new Sylvaneth? But in game terms, what it means is you can basically soak up power from
In the future?
battles that are happening nearby and
I mean,
use it
years
to do
from
cool
now?
stuff, and you can regenerate nearby units. So
Flying
they
nids
are
like
a
this?
really
This would be
useful
cool.
tool to have in a Sylvaneth army that give you yet another way.
Yeah, then again,
of
I guess you
keeping
don't want to
units
borrow too
alive
heavily
and
from
putting-
one universe and
generating
the
models
other.
into
You want to
units and
make
things
up,
like that.
new stuff, right?
And they
So-
also handle themselves in a fight pretty well. So there's
Yeah.
still a hard.
I like these
cavalry
guys,
unit,
though. These
but
guys
they're
are
one that is
freaky.
more about synergizing with
New
the rest
stuff
of your army,
protects
whereas
your
the Lancer
IP,
unit
so
is
you
just
can,
about zip across the battlefield
shut people
and kill
down
them.
for making stuff.
Sounds
about it.
great.
Yeah,
I love
oh
the
yeah,
idea that
100%.
they're sort of recovering those souls. That's really interesting.
You can
Gotta have
imagine
more
something
stuff
like
to
an
shut
insect swarm, like zipping between.
Well, it's not
places.
so much the
It's like a
shutting it
bee
down.
kind
I
of
mean,
going
like,
between
I
the
get
flowers, picking up all the
their
things,
perspective on this
and
stuff.
then
I
you know,
mean,
charging a monster.
if
and
I
just being facetious.
if I created something, which I have,
Of course.
Oh, look at that
look.
cover art.
Yeah.
Be complete.
No,
without
if I
battle
like,
tone
I have
between
run
cumbersome.
into
So here we are with
issues
a
where
new Sylvaneth
somebody
battle
has
tone.
taken my artwork and
Yeah,
used
so
it in a
Sylvaneth have
publication.
waited quite a long time
and, yeah,
for a new battle tome,
I've taken steps,
and obviously we've got
you know,
lots of new
so
units that
I
have joined
completely
Sylvaneth,
get protecting
not
your
just
IP
the ones that
because
have featured.
Yeah,
this
you have to
particular
protect it
update,
on
but
the
also
small
you've
things
got
so you can protect
things
it
that
on the
joined
big
us
things.
during the
You just
event
always protect it.
of the
Just
Broken
always
Realms.
protect it.
So there's a lot more stuff in a
Because if you
Sylvaneth
don't
army than there was
protect
the
it,
last
then
time they had a
somebody
battle
is
tome.
going to go in court and be like,
But also
hey, you
can
didn't
expect
protect it
all
the
the
last
things that
time.
you've seen
Well,
in
there's always going to
recent
be a
battle tomes
shitbag out there
have the
looking
glory,
for a shortcut
and the way that
to
the
make
army
money,
kind of works
and that's
within
always
genres.
it, right?
I think it's fair to say that Sylvaneth haven't been tearing up at the top of the
Nomad
Sigmar
reused
meta
art
in the
again.
last
Maybe
few
they're
months.
still working on it.
But
Is that
this
artwork
like a whole
from
new,
a previous
rebirth
book?
for them? They can.
I don't know.
You can build your
couldn't
army in a
tell
lot
you.
of cool new ways. Even some of
I
the
look at
units
it this
that you
way: as long as they
recognise
pick
and
a
have in your
cool
army already
cover
will,
art, who cares if they use
work in
it
different
from
ways and
somewhere
be
else
able to
that
synergize
they
with lots
have?
of new stuff.
True.
So it's an exciting time if you like.
I like the piece. It's
Fantastic.
interesting.
Well,
I'm fine
if
if they go into
or indeed
those full page spreads that they've used before in codexes and stuff, and they use that for a cover at some point. I'm fine with that. It looks cool.
The dudes with the wings, though, aren't they a brand new unit? So if they're on the cover, how could that be
to do with the Sylvaneth before
right?
Bold artwork
on the Warhammer community website?
True.
But they're not a million miles away now.
No, they're pretty close. They're closer than you might think.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it.
Very cool.
Right. Well, we of course must continue ever onwards, so we will join you
So
after
how many
this.
codexes are they going to show? I wonder.
Don't know. Oh. Age of Sigmar. Bestial Mountains.
Oh!
Oh, wow, look at this guy. Love the horns.
And did you notice the Chaos Stars?
Yeah. Is this like a Beastman thing?
Beastmen of Chaos?
They look like big ogre type dudes. Oh man, these are cool.
This is like... Oh, man.
Huh?
Do we have Minotaurs
I
coming
absolutely
to...
love the Ogroids
Chaos
that we've
is
seen
what
so
it
far,
is?
and more is always a good thing. Here we are with Ogroid Therodons.
Ogroids.
Yep. So we know there is
I
a
need
new
to know what size
Slaves to
bases
Darkness
those
book
are.
on the horizon, and
Got a
this is
wicked
one of
case
the
of
units to
Ogroids.
feature, and we've got a chance today to have a closer look at these guys.
They look
So
like 50
we've
mils
seen
almost.
Ogroids before. We saw them for the very first time
Disco
in Warhammer
turn
Quest
from
Silver
World of
Tower,
Warcraft?
if
That's
you
right, yeah.
Went
I've
all the way
never
through the
really
Silver
played
Tower.
World of
You'll know
Warcraft, so
that
I don't know.
the
I played Warcraft.
Minotaur at the
Warcraft
heart
2.
of the dungeon was
Warcraft 3.
an Ogroid.
Got a wicked case of Ogroids.
Threw fireballs at you and turned things into horrors and stuff
I
like
can't
that.
sit
So
down.
Distinctly Tzeentchian
Here's
feel
what I'll
to
tell
it,
you
wasn't
about
it?
WoW.
and then we also
You're
saw
glad
one
you
in
didn't
Warcry.
Yeah, I know.
In the shadow of the Varen Spire.
I know
where
enough
you
that
were
I knew I
marshalling
was not
Archeon's,
missing anything.
Armies.
I mean, I
But
probably
now,
would have been
in
sucked
the new
into it
Slaves to Darkness
if I
book,
got
they're
into
kind
it,
of
but
revealed
yeah.
as being this kind of entire sub-faction almost.
Same
that
reason
sits
I don't do
within,
coke
Archeon's
or heroin.
wider forces. So from a lore
I like
perspective,
the
they've got quite a
banner.
fun narrative. So these guys used to have a kind of vast empire in the.
I like Buddy on the far right.
in the
I like
realm
his
of beasts,
horns.
And were actually
just looks
allied
really cool.
to the destruction gods.
He looks like he's gonna smack you with that
but
big
they
axe.
sort of they had an empire, but you know, Gorkamok is a
Zero
a-
Hobby, that's the monster from
not the
Warhammer
best
Quest
god for people who
Silver
have an
Box.
empire.
Yeah,
And he
yeah,
also has
he
followers
was all
who,
done up purple and
who are,
everything, right?
all,
Yeah.
ogres and Uruks and things like that.
Yeah,
And a
I remember
rampaging
that
war
model.
rolled through
I
bits
think I
of
might
their
have
empire and
painted it.
destroyed most of it. So they were pretty mad actually with all of their erstwhile allies.
I
And
can't remember. It was a long
Makes
time
you
ago.
cross enough to change teams.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. So they were like, you know what? Maybe we picked the wrong side. And as their empire was crumbling and assailed on all sides by former allies and greenskins, Archeon showed up and he's like, you know what, guys?
And Buddy on the far
if
left,
you come
he's got
onto
his
my
big,
side,
got a
I'll let
big
you build
bong.
an empire just next to the Varen
Doing
Spire,
big, massive
and you can have
bowls.
all the land you want, and all you need to do is fight for me.
That's how you get your hair to stand
and
up
train
like
my
that.
armies to be warrior elites like you.
Just
And
hit
they
the
were
bowl.
like, yeah, all right.
So is that one of the things these do? Is
Yeah.
Kim, I
help
painted the
improve
Warcry
these
one.
warriors?
Cool.
Okay.
They are, yes. So these are the marshals of the Chaos Army. So they're relatively senior in the forces of Chaos. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, these are pretty darn cool.
Yeah, these are kind of guarding some of the key points.
It's Slaves
in
of
and around
Darkness.
the
Now,
Varen
isn't that
Spires of
what they
Chaos. So
said
they fit
was
into
gonna
the lore of the
released,
multi-realm
like, at the
really
end of the
nicely.
year?
They've got this kind of connection to the realm of beasts.
So we're talking
and
like
they-
months
they
and
kind
months
of
that these are gonna
feel
be
betrayed by its
available?
denizens, and particularly by their former god and the greenskins, that they really hate.
David
the
Vaughn,
forces
those
of
beasts look
destruction.
badass. Yes, they do.
But
Definitely.
in their hearts, they're still definitely like beasts of the
I like
realm.
the-
Yeah,
I like-
Slaves to
this
Darkness
kind of
is supposed to be
fallen
the winter
empire. And what's
Yeah.
quite nice
at
about
the
it, I
very
think,
end
is
of the
that,
year.
Yeah.
is to
And
see
then there's like
almost on like
5
the
or
other side
6
of the
between now and
culture
then that they didn't tell us
Sigmar.
what
So
they
we've seen
were.
what happens to the
So we know
humans that
2
have
of
kind
them now.
retreated and gone back to Azir, and Sigmar's kind of looked after them. This is one of those
Yeah,
groups that
these
were
are
sort of
pretty darn cool.
abandoned by their gods and had to kind of fall to chaos. But they've got quite a kind of a nice tragic story.
Sounds great. Now, this kit is the Ogroid Therodons also has
I love
an
watching
option,
all the
which
comments
you can
get
see here.
deleted on the Warhammer
And for me,
forums.
I'm an absolute sucker for a round
look at this, they got
That's
shields and
something about it.
swords.
The Ogroid Myrmidon as well, which already in the ring
Hello,
has a shield
Kit
going on.
Bash.
They look incredible. Chat, two-handed weapons or shields. I'm curious what you think.
Yeah. I think usually I like my two-handed weapons, but actually they look really cool. with the
Yeah,
shields.
they look like
There's a definite
gladiators
kind of
or
ancient
something,
world
man.
aesthetic going on with these. They look.
I like
almost
those horns, man. Those horns are
uh,
cool. Buddy on the far
ancient
left
kind
and
of
then Buddy on the far
phalanx-looking
right.
Warriors, don't they?
Oh, even
Yeah,
the guy
that
that
kind
horn
of,
shape I definitely like. I like
ancient
the
myth sort of
like
aesthetic going on with these. which I
dark
quite enjoy.
change that they go through.
Yeah, the-
Interesting.
like
I'd
the,
say this- it's
hard
a
angles they
pretty
go.
Even split with the two-handers being a little bit more
I
judgmental.
like the shields, too. The shields
suggesting
are
that
really
shields
cool.
might in fact be for cowards.
Wow. Okay.
But I guess as
So
long
if
as
these
you're
are
alive, you can
Ogroids,
pick
I
who was the
assume
coward
that
and who
they're
wasn't, right?
ogre sized.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine that Ogroid Theridons are definitely not a friendly unit.
Yeah,
so
I haven't been able to sit down for weeks because of
hitting
Ogroids.
people with the shields pretty hard. And if you imagine that these guys stand about twice as tall as a Chaos Warrior, the shield is probably weighs about half a ton. So
yeah, well, you know, you got to get cream and
weapon,
everything like that. It's kind of hard to treat.
That makes perfect sense to me.
But yeah, a really cool kit.
On
the way with the rest of Slave to Darkness, we saw a few of those last week. We know that there's a battle tome on the way. We know they're getting a shiny new blueprint.
These guys are cool.
Of course, yeah,
I think I like the swords better.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool
But you only
stuff
see
on
the
way
blade of the one guy in the middle.
Wonderful.
You don't see the other guy's blades. And it's
I
all in the
guess
blades.
I was kind of hoping that they would have like hand
weather
axes
eye
on some
on the.
You were hoping that. You knew this was coming?
News. I've got to admit, now I know a
Yes.
little more about their lore.
I knew all about this.
Fun, isn't it?
Well, I don't know how you
Got,
could
like,
hope for
all
something
the
that you
ones
didn't
we've
know
seen already.
existed.
So like the Thaumaturge still
My
fits into that. So he's still
My
kind
soul.
of part of. It might be like the seer or the.
You knew it in your soul of souls.
And the Myrmidon, you've got the hero types, haven't you?
Yeah, you
And
can make
that's
it
what-
alive. Quite nice.
And I like the tragic
David Vaughn,
backstory.
show me
Well,
your
that's-
blades.
excuses.
Show me your
Tell me
Like
blades.
tragic
Blades.
backstories, and you've come to the right place with one.
And I like Buddy. He's got the
all the
pipe.
tragic backstories.
He's gonna do a big fat bowl.
Very good. Right. Okay. So, we've had a look at the forthcoming Skaven with a new battle tome and a fantastic new Deathmaster.
Skaven,
We've seen
Sylvaneth,
a whole bunch of
Ogroids,
and some
What
new
else we getting?
Ogroids for the Slaves to Darkness, which we kind of already knew.
Disco
on,
shields
Slaves
look
to
better
Darkness. Looks like
than
they've got
the
some awesome new models.
2H with the horn.
How
Oh, the
about
horns,
something
yeah.
which is the start of a very long build-up?
That sounds fun.
Should we have a video?
Oh, lots of videos. We got all the videos today. All the videos.
Destiny calls.
What's the
With
number?
This sacred token, you are bound by oath to carry Sigmar's light and build a sanctuary against the darkness.
Ooh.
There is no turning back now. The coin Malleus chose you. And by your deeds, or by your example, the Dawnbringer Crusades will see your people triumphant.
Nice.
I don't even know what that is.
My favourite comment in the chat was by far, "Hey, I have that coin."
So that was pretty cryptic. So we can
little
talk a
bit.
bit more about what that means exactly. So
Okay, let's
since
go.
the start
Get
of
to
Age
it,
of
Eddie.
Sigmar, we've seen all sorts of cool stuff. We've seen like gods and monsters and great big, all sorts of cool epic events across the realms. But one of the things that's been a little bit conspicuous by its absence
Disco
is
GW starting
presence
crypto?
of,
Yeah.
normal human level.
GW's getting in
So
the
one
crypto
of the
game.
things we're announcing
Crypto
today is that
goes
Warhammer
up
Studios
every time the
have
internet
embarked
gets
on
angry
what will
at
be
them.
one of the most ambitious new
they're getting-
faction
It's entirely
projects
linked
for Age of Sigmar since
to,
the
like,
launch of the
nerd
game,
blood
basically,
pressure.
which is the kind of reinvention of the free cities and the cities of Sigmar within the mortal realms. So
Are they doing like a
we're gonna
Mordenheim
see,
thing?
Over the next few kind of months, we're going to follow the progress on the community
That'd
site
be
and
kinda cool.
elsewhere of the development
Greenleaf terrain.
of,
Do you even lift, bro?
humans,
Bro?
basically, in Age of Sigmar.
I'm a douche, bro.
The
Bro.
thing that you can see on the screen there is the God King's coin that is
the
given.
coin Malleus, is that right?
That's right, the coin Malleus. Or Malleus,
Why would a
he's
God
tomato,
King need
tomato,
coin?
Quite.
Call the whole thing off.
If he's a god.
No,
that's
you
given
have to
to
buy.
the
What does God
warriors
need with
and
money?
the people that set out from the cities of Sigmar into the mortal realms
Bro.
to found new cities, seeds of hope, new settlements out in the wilds, basically. And that's the kind of the theme.
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't caught a word of what these guys are talking about.
So you can imagine that these places are full of, flying
That's okay.
sharks
I'm-
and oryx.
I'm not
and
sure what they're going on about now.
gargants and
I
monsters
heard the
and
word
demons
flying
and
sharks
gods
a
and all
moment
sorts of
ago.
horrible
Flying
stuff, so that the
sharks.
humans kind of band together, incredibly brave little crusades of mankind that set out, not always necessarily protected by Stormcast warriors, sometimes just on their own, and they've got to battle against these horrible odds. One of the nice things in Warhammer 40,000 is that you can see the setting through the eyes almost of things like guardsmen. You can see how horrific the setting is, and that's one of the perspectives almost that's been missing from Age of Sigmar is that, like, what's it like to be a human? What's like, how does that feel? How do those armies actually? How do you even start
Brian,
to fight
Cities of
against,
Sigmar, NFTs.
demonic incursion when all you've got
Do
is,
you even crypto, bro?
swords and steel and courage, and that's what
PNGs of Sigmar, let's
Yeah,
go.
absolutely. It provides
Yeah, it sounds
that
like
sort of
Mordenheim.
level of context for sort of
Yeah,
the
no, man, he's
awfulness
talking
of your
40K now. Yeah, I know.
position, the
Well, they're drawing
difficulty
their
of the
parallels,
world
right?
that
'Cause,
they
I
live in,
mean,
when you can suddenly see a ground level.
It's Games
thing.
Workshop.
A little bit of sort of insight on this coin. The Warhammer Studio.
And for the longest
long
time, I
game
mean,
with
Warhammer
this,
Fantasy was parallel to Warhammer
if you
40K,
pre-ordered
right? So-
Dominion back in the
Right,
day,
it was just a
you've
time
got the
jump.
coin Malleus set, like
kind of,
objective
yeah.
marker sets.
Yep.
And
I mean, there was hints that the
they knew
Warhammer
back then
Fantasy
that this
world
was the sort of
was
the-
in the 40k universe.
Shilling, right?
Because way back in the day, the Realm of Chaos books, Chaos Warriors in Warhammer Fantasy could roll mutations, and they would get like plasma weapons.
The beginning of the genesis for us.
Well, there was also the same gods.
What the people of the city.
It's the same gods. That's the connecting thing, right?
So, for me, when I saw this video for the first
time,
so
there is a multiverse. There is some way.
It's nice as well because the narrative
sure.
for this is
and that's why if you've ever heard me talk about this stuff for any length of time, that the Warhammer 40,000 universe could be a realm within Age of Sigmar, right? There could be a doorway that leads you into
the payoff towards
the realm of Sigmar.
You just don't want to go in it.
No, shit, no.
Following Age of Sigmar, and
you'd be vastly outpowered, I think.
You're in on the story. This is going to be.
Imagine Stormcast Eternal showing up and there's Tyranids all over the place. Like, what the hell?
This is how I imagine it's been. But we've not just got.
They're just showing us mutated. Let's go! Oh God!
To share as well, just to prove that this.
Disco, did you say Realms of Chaos? Realms of Chaos, yeah. Realms of Chaos. Oh, look at this.
Minds of the Warhammer studio.
Not complete models today, but just to give you a sense of what we're looking at. Here's some of the kind of iconography and heraldry and kind of visuals. It's already you start to get a sense of this is going to be
those are
a
literally
faction with
3D
very
models
much its own.
Yeah, well, that's how they prototype all their stuff.
Going to be just the Empire.
Like all the stuff that's painted. No,
it's
a way to rapidly prototype their stuff.
Some of the kind of style
and like all these skulls. I mean, that's one file, right?
Twin-tailed comet is still very
a lot of these elements have probably already been designed for a while, and let's use this for this, and let's use this for that.
In the sense that if you're a crusade of mortals setting out into the mortal realms, you're probably surrounded by death on a near daily basis, so there's plenty of symbols of skulls and stuff. They're going to feel very Warhammer.
Yeah, it's still morbid in all the right ways.
Yeah, absolutely. But
some of these things feel like they could be
is that there is that little spark of
sister battle type.
They are setting out because they genuinely
armor and
such. It's very clear that there's like one baseline skull
to carve out
them.
A future, a city.
And a lot of these are just
even
core
if most of the
elements
Crusaders
like hodgepodge together.
Horror and disaster. There is something really compelling about
it's just
the idea
taking
of
a bunch of core elements
or a
and
band
putting
of
them together.
Setting out,
that's all they're doing here,
like,
I feel.
With hope in their hearts.
I forgot, Kris, your audio sounds like you're in a can.
Take on
can audio, Kris.
Now, I'm
my audio all fucked up?
I didn't spend a little while
looking
at this picture here, and I think that we might have a sense of scale on a few of the pieces, assuming that they're scaled to each other based on.
Well, I think it's feedback.
Sigmar.
No, I think it's on my end. I think
it's the 2 points
my
down.
audio speakers are coming through my mic.
I think the thing to the lower right of that is a shoulder.
A little bit of feedback.
That's my guess. So like I don't know, sort of a suit of armor equivalent to something like a average soldier.
Legion, bring back Mornheim or an equivalent would be great, especially if it leads to more Karl Konopsky artworks. Yeah.
Like a
Bridge Troll. I want to see a new Chaos Spawn.
Some sort of morbid
I don't know if we will, because
what we're looking at are things.
40K
that skull and that shoulder
just did it yesterday.
A sense of scale for the rest of things is my hope.
Kim, it sounds good here.
These are tiny and very
David, sounds fine.
And what we're going to have is some extremely baroque.
Adam, maybe there's a ringing in your ears, bud.
With a very strong gothic
like I said, it's only the weird amplification of the stream.
I think we'll explore a lot more of these on the community site as we approach the release, and we'll obviously, when we're ready to show full miniatures and things.
Lopez, wait, those are 3D renders on Warhammer Fest?
You can start to already see that they're going to look aesthetically very different from something like the Storm.
They showed it yesterday. There was 3D renders of the Khorne chain axes.
Kind of clean.
They did yesterday.
Godlike aesthetic proportions
and
of the
almost
Storm
every model
look, forged by literal magic, right?
Yep, absolutely.
A
few
all those masters that are painted up for the box art stuff. You can see the 3D print lines on them.
It's just flown past.
Especially the Forge World stuff, you can totally see the 3D prints. Because
they
just create the master.
I agree. I think some of these might be Bannertops.
They could well be Bannertops.
I totally agree with that. Somebody asked, do we think that there might be non-humans within the Cities of Sigmar or whatever this faction is eventually called?
So I think we'll find out much more about it. I think that there probably will be some representation from.
Now, when are we going to see some more of this return to the old world stuff?
The drive, I think, is to show,
because that was like the big reveal like a year ago, wasn't it?
That the old
world was going to come
back.
back.
Like they were going to bring back the old world.
The cities of Sigmar obviously are vast and multifaceted. Encompass all sorts of different places across the realms.
Yeah, I mean, square bases. Yeah, that can go away. I'm fine with it.
The thing Age of Sigmar is missing. Really is that kind of human representation almost. So that's going to be the heart of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess what remains to say about this is it's a long running project. And a bit like the Warhammer community team did with
Nomad, they just want to keep us older fans interested.
We'll
yeah,
follow
probably.
A similar pattern.
Most
We'll
likely.
keep you updated with all these developments.
Yeah.
Should be very exciting.
Yeah, the reason we're telling you about it early is because we're quite excited about it. Really, it's because it's a very ambitious project, and we want to kind of take you on the journey with us to show you how this faction comes into being, so you can understand a little bit of that.
Brian, when will
and
Boomer
get excited
GW sell models on Thingiverse?
The Warhammer's GW
Yeah,
is just
that's
super
a
psyched
long
about
way
it, so
off.
It's going to be really cool.
It's when they can actually copyright
absolutely.
protect the file instead of having it shared all over the place. I'm sure that's why you don't see
This is a great start so
GW
far.
Yeah,
embracing
there's
3D
really
printing.
a way to do that.
I must admit, I'm quite excited. My army in the world that was.
It's like something like
was an
self-destructing
empire army,
files
so I feel like this
before
is maybe
Yeah,
a
exactly,
return
like,
to that
yeah.
sort of living the life of the everyman.
Any games company, any model
knows?
producer is not going to embrace 3D printing to the level of which
Right.
people want.
So we are by
Until
no
they can
means
protect
done.
their IP because
our next
you buy
topic,
it once
if you are
and then
into
share it
match
1,000
play,
times, you know what I mean? Like,
will be of great interest to you.
That's a huge
because,
loss of money.
coming up very soon, we have the new General's Handbook for pitch
General's
battles.
Handbook.
Eddie, give us the lowdown.
Cool. So yesterday we announced the next season of Match Play for Warhammer 40,000. We're doing the same again for Warhammer Age of Sigmar today. This will set out the Match Play scene effectively for the next 6 months plus of Age of Sigmar, and it contains the sort of stuff you'd expect it to contain. So there's some themes that are worth
contains
exploring.
what you
So
expected.
the first one is that this has got a lot of battle plans.
Good synopsis.
There are 12 battle plans in here. 6 of them are relatively generic battle plans that you can use however you want, and then 6 of them are themed very much to the setting of this particular General's Handbook, which is still set.
now, why did they go with the
realm of
ring-bound
beasts, but in a
spines
different location
in Age of
within the realm
Sigmar,
beasts?
as opposed to
So,
just like a binding, like a regular book?
The
Where's
last
my
few
ring-bound
months
for
we've been
40K?
I guess maybe for ease of gameplay,
we have
because you're
we've
constantly
been in a place
flipping,
which is
leaving
full
the
of
page open and
monsters
stuff.
large
Maybe.
beasts. So if you've been playing
I want that.
competitive match
I want
play for Age
that.
of Sigmar, you'll know that you had
40K.
lots of things that either gave you bonuses against monsters or made your monsters better, or if you had a spell, you could literally turn yourself into a monster.
Sure.
The next season of Warhammer Age of Sigmar is much more focused on battle line infantry. So if you've got a force which is very heavily dependent on things like your basic troopers, you want big.
I don't know if
blocks
those
of
spears are
units.
long enough.
There'll be lots of things that give your guys bonuses, and the idea is that the troops have now been in the Realm of Beasts for months, if not years, on campaign. They're all veterans now of the Realm of Beasts. They know how to kind
Bridge
of
troll. I
handle
want
themselves
ring-bound
and
40K
kind of
too. Yeah, it'd be
survive
nice.
in a very torturous environment. So
Brian,
they've all
Sigmar has
become
better
elites,
rules too.
basically,
Just
to
saying.
some extent. So your basic infantry.
Yeah, so
get lots of
so people
bonuses,
keep telling me
and all of the kind
Age of
of
Sigmar
season
rules-wise
mechanics
is a tighter
riff off
game.
the idea of either buffing your own infantry
I think
or
because
debuffing the
you know,
enemy's infantry,
you're still
or giving you
relatively
some kind of
into,
interesting mechanic about how your
Age of
infantry
Sigmar,
interacts
whereas 40K
with the rest of the
is-
battle. That's not to say
it
that if
has,
you've
you
got
know,
something
been
like a monster
evolving
heavy
for
army, you
30
can't still
years,
compete.
right?
Sure.
But the focus moves basically, so you can still absolutely play Age of Sigmar and compete with any shape of army.
Disco, maybe
but
GW will
the-
dip into it. Oh, at
The
one
theme,
point
I
they
suppose,
will,
of
I'm
the
sure.
season is all about your basic.
You have to
think
adapt,
this
right? You
might
have to
usher
adapt to
in
survive.
some
And
changes,
Games Workshop,
so you
like
can
any
play
other
on
business,
sort of,
they have to adapt.
organised events,
to survive.
match play events and so on.
Which is why,
I think
you
this
know,
will
like
usher
the
in
last
some
couple of years,
changes
like
to
they've really
the
ramped
typical
up
armies that
these
you're seeing
productions and,
participating in those.
you know.
So I think it
And I think
definitely
also
will.
too because they
and
I
that's
think
one
that
of the
rapid
reasons that
release
these match play
that they've been
books
doing the last
come
couple
out
of years,
is to
I
sort
think
of shake
that's
the match up a little
so they
bit.
can stay ahead
so
of
what would be
you know,
sad is if
recastings
a
and you know,
dominant army emerges that never
printing
changes,
and you know what I mean, and constantly
as well, but that's
you know,
the best army,
making
that's
original
the
stuff,
end,
right?
That's Warhammer's. You've completed Warhammer the end. That would be rubbish. So what the packs do is they go, okay, so you've played for 6 months using this pack. Here is a different set
Now,
of scenarios.
why is like
and a
Teclis in this
different set
picture?
of
Why is Teclis like
not
behind
kind of
enemy lines
heavy
taking
touch,
on the
light touch
gash?
rules that mix
when
up
there's a
slightly
whole
the way
bunch
that
of
these things play?
big
So I'm
bone
already
monsters,
looking at things
you
like
know,
my
protecting
Auric army and all of a sudden things like
them.
Gut Rippers, which definitely aren't kind of like ripping up the
I
meta
like
right
these,
now. All of in this season,
these
they've
high
become
elf
much more
dudes. What the hell are they
appealing.
called?
Lots
Okay.
of those units where you're like, actually, these were
remember what the hell
pretty
these
much
guys are
felt
called.
like
I like them,
army
though. They're
fillers.
cool.
But now they feel
I
like
wouldn't
actually
collect them,
they
though.
can compete.
Yeah, they look
can
cool.
Do the job. They can claim.
And
the
I like a
objectives,
lot
they
of the
can
models, like the
synchronize
Teclis
with
model there
the rules
in
of
the
season.
background
I
there.
think it will.
I like that
certainly
model.
at the top end of tables for Age of Sigmar. I think it will
But
shake up the meta.
these guys kind
Yeah,
of
makes
you know
perfect
look a
sense.
little
And it's
close
nice
to
to when you've
Eldar
got
for
large
me, and so
armies, as,
you know,
many
I
collections
can't
do,
get
build
into
things up
them.
over
I can't
time,
get
and they
into
enjoy
them.
experimenting with the different units.
I could.
It's nice to have
but I'm
the knowledge that the day in the sun may come
Now,
out
Deepkin.
for that particular unit.
totally
and I
different.
think it will evolve again, right? So that the next pack will have a different theme, and Warhammer will keep evolving and keep being fresh and exciting, and that's all good. But if you're a fan of some armies, will do very well out of this. So something like
I was just making the joke about the Spirit, but like just even the Spirit looks really cool.
Like
the
is
cavalry,
rewarded for
the
investing
beasts that they
heavily in
ride,
big
those things
blocks
are just
infantry
awesome.
Will enjoy this season. I think will do well, and a lot of those armies are the ones that aren't really competing particularly well in the meta for Age of Sigmar right now. So I think it will be really interesting to see what happens for competitive play. If you're more of a casual match player, which we know quite a lot of people out there like to play match play, but don't necessarily want to compete at tournaments.
It has a certain flow to it, doesn't it?
I think that's a lot of people's jam. It's a popular flavour of jam. You can all of the points for this, the updates for the points will be available for free online as well. So if you'd rather just continue to play with the missions that you have in your core book, or you want to use
they're doing this for free as well?
battle pack or something, you absolutely can carry on doing that.
I agree.
But again, as with Warhammer 40,000, what you've got here is a book that shakes up the match play competitive.
That's right, you got to pay for it.
Makes it exciting and interesting to join in with. So I think it's pretty cool.
And also, I guess maybe they want to have visual distinctions between their systems, right? So it doesn't feel
sort of
too samey.
Those events a few times a year.
I guess
sort of
I don't
meet
know.
Your friends and roll dice in sort of
no man wait.
A competitive spirit is quite the high point. So it's good that everybody's sort of singing from the same hymn sheet. Sign me right up. Okay, so we have one more video to play for you. Shall we proceed to that and see how we get along? Be back.
Uncommonly tall for a Dwardin, an adventurer, an engineer, a wit, and a self-proclaimed genius. Trekkie Flint, captain of the Ailsling, known throughout the sky shoals of Acromia. Say his name and make half a tavern starry-eyed, while the other half mutters about how much money he owes them. A soul-blight vampire who accepted the curse as his people and kingdom fell to chaos. He now roams the realm of death and beyond. Kado Ezekiah, a wanderer who has outlived the memory of the age that made him, seeking retribution and salvation for the ones he failed.
Oh, he's pretty cool. I like the dwarf guy too, the Overlord.
Something quite different now then. That's two new heroes that until today.
I kind of like the vampire dude. I'm usually not about vampires.
Who have we got and what's the story here?
Yes, so two new characters that are inspired by what will be two new series for Black Library. So this is a slightly different, I suppose, origination for how we normally get new heroes. Usually they drop with alongside a new battle tome or a new edition or something like that. But these ones have been created in a combined effort between our Black Library teams and the teams of the Warhammer.
I like his blaster. It's a 3-barreled blaster. It looks
characters that we will get to follow through a series of adventures in Black Library stories, but will also show up in the kind of wider narrative of Age of Sigmar. And they give
takes it just a little further. Instead of giving them both barrels, he gives them 3 barrels.
New ways to look at the mortal realms, and also cool new models.
3 barrels?
Yeah, absolutely. So
I like him.
Flint here.
I like he's standing on some sort of tentacle.
Overlord, right?
For everybody who's into the tentacles.
We're going to get to learn his adventures in his very own book.
I mean, who isn't?
The Arcanauts Oath.
It's a novel
by, frankly, Black Library staple and extremely popular author Guy Haley. I can't think of a better choice to be writing stories about Dwardin, sort of faring the aether skies and looking for trouble in all the wrong places.
Yeah, so I think there's the two things to be. There's lots of things to be excited about. But, I think if you're a fan of Black Library fiction and the Mortal Realms, I think you can look forward to two really cool new series. I have not read a
single
They have both of these characters have appeared in short fiction in the past from Black Library, so you can download the ebooks you got to from blacklibrary.com. But these are the first kind of full-length novels that they're appearing in. Trekkie Flynn's first book is The Arcanauts Oath, which, as you said, by Guy Haley.
Nomad, it's a blunderbuss. Pirates would load them with rocks and potatoes when they ran out of ammo. Yeah, it's a 3-barreled blunderbuss.
Recently as well, and the Horus Heresy and 40k, and has written a few Age of Sigmar stories too.
Either way, I imagine it's probably
story that's in good
pretty
hands,
good spread on it.
And I think
especially if you load it with like rocks and stuff, just chuck some gravel.
Carajons generally is quite an interesting perspective for Age of Sigmar because they do get to travel around. You get to see lots of bits of the realm. They've got quite an interesting mercenary take on the how they approach life in the mortal realms and battles. So hopefully we'll get to see lots of cool stuff.
And this isn't the first place that Drecky Flint has turned up. It's worth pointing out. I've seen a call
Ryan
out
says Sigmar crime novel was amazing. A drunk witch hunter.
Works.
Oh, really? Interesting.
There are some short stories, e-shorts on the Black Library website. You can go and check out right now if you wanted to, which deal with Drecky Flint. There's one called The Lost Karak, for example. Which
does anybody know? Are there any
let you get to know them a bit?
Like what is the
me,
what is the
any
favorite
chance to get to
Age of
see
Sigmar
the Mortal
novel
from the unique perspective
that
of
everybody says,
characters?
yeah, this is one of the best pieces for Age of Sigmar.
They've got cool models to accompany them.
Right, like
so
for
much
40K,
better.
you can set things
I've got to be honest. When I saw these, I immediately my heart went off in the direction of, these would be cool characters like Soul Battle and things as well. So
they will also have rules in Age of Sigmar as well. So there's if you
look at this guy. I like this
stories,
guy.
A, you're missing out, but B, you definitely can still use these great.
I like how they painted that vial on his belt.
So the other character we're going to follow is Kadar Ezekiel, the Hollow King.
This is
so this is a soul blight vampire.
I like how they did the cape
this is very
and the hair
much
going
the kind of anti-hero character in a new series that's going to be penned by John French.
Sometimes you'll get the hair flow going the opposite way, and it's pretty fun.
Readers may
I like
know
the modeling on
probably
the
Horus Heresy
armor as well.
I mean, money takes your choice when it comes to where you know John French from. Me, I would pick the Siege of Terror, but he was writing before that, and I imagine
no, it looks like a metallic, but
too.
They might do that non-metallic metal effect on the metal.
Again, there's more Kato Ezekiah.
Brian says Dark Harvest. Dark Harvest is a good Age of Sigmar novel.
Again, in short format. If you have to dip your toes into the water right now,
Nomad says
full novel, The Hollow King is coming, and this guy really is your tragic anti-hero.
Because like I've read like Gotrex and Felix.
He was the king of a realm
I've
which
read
has
those
been
ones.
sort of obliterated
I think
by
those
the
are the
dark
only
gods,
Warhammer
and now
fantasy
wanders
books
the
I've
mortal
read,
realms
or novels,
alone.
I should say.
Getting into
I like this dude though.
Of various sorts.
It's interesting too that he has like a fleshy color to him.
I would say of John French's characterization is typically
he's not
his
as
characters have got some
pale
real
as we
depth to them.
typically get from vampires.
I'm looking forward to getting to know a
we usually
soul-like
get that like
Gravelord
gray
hero
blue color.
from their perspective. I think that could be quite exciting.
Well, I think he's got experience with anti-heroes as well, so he has done the Araman trilogy. I think is maybe another great example of his work.
I think it's very kind of you to describe
I like the way they did that.
Straight up baddie, in my opinion.
He's
to give it that
just trying to save his brothers. What
patina
could be more
on the
heroic?
surface, you know.
But yes, so I think Warhammer is a difficult place to be a good guy in because pretty much everyone's a villain in some way, shape, or form. So I think you had a nice line earlier on, Adam, which is just try and be an anti-hero doing good things. Is the way to do it, but
I don't know if it
should be
needed that big
a
piece of
compelling
cloth
story
coming
about
across his
Soulblight
front,
vampire.
but it does
obviously
make
we had
it nice and
a
moody.
major release of
It feels kind of
Soulblight
like a
very
Batman
popular
thing,
faction
you know?
in Age of Sigmar, and we get another character to add into the mix.
It makes it
but a
feel
super cool model as well.
more
I think
like kind of
maybe a nice one for painters.
This is the show stealer for me
addition to
today.
Tyrus to
As we
grab a
looked
piece
through
of cloth
before we
to cover
came on
himself.
air.
Sure, yeah. I mean, like
love
he kind of
models
has
that
this
just ooze
Aragorn
sort of
Ranger
character
type vibe.
and, you want, even if you're never going to collect the armor,
Yeah.
whether or not I ever collect a Soulblight Gravelord
It's cool, though.
Army, I couldn't tell you, but I'm all in on Keizo Ezekiel. I think that's awesome miniature, and I can just imagine him being like my sort of avatar.
Kim,
in
Dark
that
Harvest is
Soulblight
good,
role-playing
but
adventure
Goth
or
Goal Hollow is great,
find a
and the
way
Cursed
to
City
do
book is
some
great.
awesome,
I've done about 150 Black Library books at this point. I
Warcraft,
got over 100 just in Audible.
There's a couple
that I
of
heard.
interesting comments
Yeah, see,
on these.
again,
I
I can't
couldn't
do
possibly
audibles.
begin to tell
I
you
just
whether
can't.
you can use these in things like Curiosity.
I fell down, alerts off.
So who knows what time we'll show.
You can definitely
somebody
use them in
subscribed, I
Age of
think.
Sigmar.
Awesome.
Think that's the thing. They will have war
I can't
scrolls
see it, though.
for use in those.
Thank you
games.
for subscribing,
Whether
whoever that was.
they'll go further into other games, I think we don't know yet.
Depends when their adventures take them, I suppose.
It does.
Yeah, I like the
Very
way that
cool.
vial's painted
Yeah,
on his belt, though.
that's quite a lot of love for that. I think it's
has that soft gradient. You can still see like a little
like
bit
the
of blood
Arcanaut
inside
more,
there, and
just
then
'cause he's
the
standing on,
glass
like,
is
I don't know if we
that,
can
you know,
cut
it's like
back
a
that,
dark
but,
glass.
I think it's the tentacle. I think it's just like I want to know what he's killed.
One presumes it came from something up high as well. What in
He was just on a hentai
the-
adventure and he
The
made
skies
his
above
return.
the mortal realms is that big and has look at the
Dread to
meat.
think. It could be a tongue.
No, it's got to be some sort of a.
Of course, he
Some sort of
just
weird
like
sky
standing on
craft.
like a
Yeah,
tentacle,
it's
like he's just
that
chopped
could
it
be
off or
ideal.
something and
Who
killed the
knows?
monster. Yet his
Yeah,
axe
but,
is clean.
I love the Arcanaut's weaponry. They've got just like that axe is just so over engineered. It's got like an axe and it's also a harpoon and it probably does some other stuff.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah, it's a
opens
harpoon.
cans. It's got
I
an
didn't
MP3
even
player in
notice
it. Who
that.
knows?
He's got his own heraldry as well. I quite like.
Oh yeah,
his
it's got like a
sort
little
of
handbrake on it
anchor that looks almost like a long ship.
above where his
Oh,
hand
that's
is
nice.
grabbing the axe.
So
like
there
a
we
little
are.
handbrake.
We are a house divided in between Drecky Flint and
There's room in
Kado.
Warhammer for all of us, I think, Adam.
Quite so. Right. Well,
Interesting.
that brings us to almost the hour mark. It would be worth doing a recap of everything that we have we've looked at, because there's quite a lot, and I can barely remember back to 55 minutes ago. So we started off with the Skaven and the new announced Deathmaster.
I
like this fantastic model coming soon for the Skaven, and their entirely new battle tome, which will include all sorts of updates for rules, including
that's cool.
Clan-based armies and everything. Of course, that was quickly followed by an absolute glut. I was trying to think of a plant-based pun. Couldn't get there fast enough for the Sylvaneth. But
Vines. I like this
a cornucopia nonetheless. So the Lady of Vines, epic hero from the lore of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. One of those great characters from when the Storm of Sigmar first broke across the mortal realms. And it's lovely to see her represented with her own miniature. And she will not be arriving alone. Incredible new Sylvaneth models such as
these
the Blossomid Archers, which are just the scariest looking fairies you ever saw in your life. And then 2 new airborne cavalry units with the Spite Rider Lancers, and
guaranteed these are going to show up in all sorts of armies that are not Sylvaneth.
They have their own battle tome wending its way towards us. But that is not all. Eddie told us the lowdown on the Ogroids.
Ogroid Theriodons are joining the Slaves of Darkness. These are the fallen martial warriors of an ancient empire, now sworn to Archaon, and they'll be joining the Slaves to Darkness alongside lots of other new things towards the end of this year.
Absolutely. And the debate between shields versus two-handed weapons raged.
Yeah, those are cool.
I think two-handed weapons ever so slightly won out, but I didn't count all the answers, I'm not going to lie. We also revealed the start of an extremely exciting sort of long build project, as the Warhammer studio has undertaken the work of creating the cities of Sigmar. I'm super excited for this. The mortal armies, the humans.
Yeah, I wonder if this is going to be their Mordheim, which is basically like fantasy necromunda
of what the sort of imagery and iconography of that army might look like. Keep your eyes peeled on warhammercommunity.com.
Brian Kipash, the Pirate Eldar with the Wood Elves.
Get close to that release.
Brother Eldarian, like the Monotors.
We also have 2. Oh, the General's Handbook.
We're all over the place.
Pressing all the buttons. You should see how excited he looks.
We've got the General's Handbook, which is going to shake up match play for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. The big news here is lots of new battle plans. Infantry are going to get really good, but if you don't want to play at the top end of competitive Age of Sigmar, you just want to kind of roll some dice at home, the points will.
What about the bottom end of competitive?
Awesome.
Is there a place for us there?
And of course, then we got to these 2 new Warhammer Age of Sigmar heroes with accompanying novels to get super excited about. You have Drekkie Flint and his accompanying novel, The Archanaut's Oath. And then we have Kado, Ezekiah, and the Hollow King. An eponymous.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like this one.
That was pretty rad. I'm not going to lie. For day 2 of Warhammer Fest, we have seen some awesome stuff.
Are we done?
Chat, what was your favourite thing? You've got a few minutes to bang in the thing that you've seen today that was your favourite. I will pick, using my entirely non-judgmental eyeballs, the thing. Ogroids are straight out there. Oh, there's a lot of Ogroid love. Sylvaneth, I think, have an unfair advantage because you can just shout Sylvaneth and it encompasses all of them and you might have had a specific thing. But that's fair enough. Quite a lot of people were here for the Skaven. So, Eddie, your pick?
So I'm definitely going to get the Deathmaster.
Deathmaster, you have a Skaven army already?
I do, day 1 purchase. I am quite excited about the Sylvaneth.
I'm not
like
usually one for Skaven, but
yeah,
it's a cool looking model.
I think there's a thing there. So the Alariel, I think, is one of the models that is like the best, one of the best models we've ever made that I've never.
The flying bugs.
Really?
I think it's way up there. I think she's like one of the best things we've ever done.
Oh, interesting.
And I don't own it, and I haven't painted it, and I haven't had an excuse to paint it.
I can feel your excuse closing in on you right now. Kado is definitely my favourite thing of the day. I think we've been well treated, and I did like your explanation of the Ogroids. I quite like the idea of a little Ogroid force. The Ogro Myrmidon's been a quiet favourite.
Brian,
for a while.
40k got the fancy tarot card size Tempest of War.
This has been day 2 of Warhammer Fest Online in 2022. We are not
forward to that
done yet. There are still 2 more days of Warhammer Fest Online to come. We are back tomorrow at 5 p.m. with, that's British time. There'll be stuff on the Warcom website.
You have your own clocks.
I'll let you figure that out. But we're back tomorrow with what I think promises to be an incredible lineup. Genuinely, you'll love it tomorrow if you are into things like, I need to get the list right, Necromunda.
Yep.
Kill Team.
Yes. So that.
Warcry.
Yes.
Is that right? Is that it? Have I left something out? I feel like
there might be some Middle Earth.
Oh, holy moly! Yeah, guys, if you like the Middle Earth strategy battle game, actually, you're going to be like super psyched for what's coming tomorrow.
Yeah, I forgot about Middle Earth.
If you are, free on a Friday night and looking for some Warhammer excitement, please do come and join us for day 3 of Warhammer Fest Online 2022. So we have been
return back
by the excellent Raph, who has pressed all the buttons and made all the videos work. Notley, the Moderati, and keeping the chat clean and hopefully making sure everything goes nice. It was made easier.
Nomad Dwarf is my fave. I'm biased though.
Excellent.
Chase, new Sylvaneth are dope. Too bad no Kerning cool vampire. I hope
the man who knows
the current Deathmaster. He is cool.
It's been a pleasure to have you join us. Please come back tomorrow. We'll see you for day 3.
Day 3. Look at that. Well, there we go, kids. There we go. So, for all you Age of Sigmar fans out there, I think it was pretty interesting. Skaven Battle Tome, Sylvaneth Battle Tome, Sylvaneth models, character, flying bugs. Oh, and the archers, the little fairies. Yeah, I like those archers too. Man, I mean, like with those Sylvaneth models, like there's all sorts of places you can go for that, like with the imagery of all that stuff, right? I mean, yeah, it's pretty darn cool. And yeah, sorry, I'm just killing some of these things here. Some of these windows. There we go. All right, we're okay now. So that was it. So I guess I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Again, patrons, you can join me on the Discord, in the voice Discord, just like Jared was today. And yeah, we can talk. We can share our thoughts in the moment, as it were. Sorry, I need a little sip of water. A little sip of water. Gotta stay hydrated. Gotta hydrate, man. Gotta hydrate. Gotta stay hydrated. Nomad, forget something. Fired. Or fire red. Fire red? Fired? Fired? Yeah, one thing that, I would like to see return in Age of Sigmar and get the Age of Sigmar update and conversion. Because, I mean, like, in Age of Sigmar, you have, Sylvaneth, which were the Wood Elves, right? You have Daughters of Cain, which were, Dark Elf. You know what I mean? Like, you have these parallels. But we don't have anything from Bretonnia. Like, what happened to Bretonnia? I realize that even Bretonnia wasn't a huge empire in the old world. But what happened to it? What happened to it? What happened to the people? I've had ideas of, what they could do to update them and bring them into Age of Sigmar and do something original and different and, all of that. Yeah. I mean, I might be biased in that regard that, because I used to play Bretonnia in fantasy, right? And, yeah. I'd like to see Bretonnia return to Age of Sigmar or be incorporated. I guess they would get incorporated into the Stormcast, but, there's already enough Stormcast stuff. I kind of would see Bretonnians become their own thing. Maybe, a little Stormcast influenced, but different, I think making them their own thing would be really, really cool. And an excuse for another army kind of thing, right? Rather than just being folded into Stormcasts. But yeah. Kim, see ya. Yeah, later, duder. Yeah, I think we're going to end the stream here. And, yeah, so I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. Big thank you to all my patrons. If you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the description. And, yeah. Brother Eldan, I'd be happy with normal humans, not necessarily Bretonnians. Normal humans? Well, I mean, the Stormcast. The Stormcasts are, they're kind of beefy humans, but, yeah. I think something different. Job is left up. But I just got here. Yeah, well, you should have showed up on time. Should have showed up to class on time. Nomad, Bretonnia should be in day 1. Yeah, they should have been in day 1. Yeah, they should have been. But I think, how do you carry over that knight imagery into fantasy and make it, original, right? Because essentially they're just, Knights of Arthur kind of thing, right? I mean, how do you take that inspiration, throw it in the blender, and get something original for Age of Sigmar? And yeah, I've had ideas on how they could go about it that would be different and would just be something completely different. I've had ideas. But yeah, Nomad, they're like the guardsmen of fantasy. Bretonnians? I wouldn't say that. I mean, the peasants in Bretonnian forces, you know, like they were just duders, right? I'm sure you could probably reincorporate that kind of imagery into making, you know, these Bretonnian peasants, but I mean, for me, it was really about the knights, you know, the knights and the heraldry of them all and the individual aesthetics of each knight, essentially. But then they'd run in big packs together, and I like that idea as well, you know. Anyway, all right. I think we're done, right? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Maybe. Possibly. Well, some of you. I won't see you, though. Yeah, you won't be here tomorrow. But maybe you. If you're watching this after the fact and you want to watch live with me, then yeah, you can join me. Come in and chat and watch. Or just watch. You don't have to chat. Although it's nice. But you don't have to. And Java's left out. I just got here. Yeah? Well, fucking should have showed up on time. Nomad, I mean, in the human versus the world sort of way, you're right. The knights were all lords and stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bretonnians? Yeah. They could totally bring back Bretonnians in Age of Sigmar. But who knows, right? Who knows? All right, let's get the hell out of here. I got stuff to do.